Talk about a couple of players, and there are some people I've recently begun coaching, and one of them is very interesting from the standpoint that she's dealing with an issue that I think I put my finger on it, and I think we got it. So, but I want to get Linda's advice on that because I think it's pretty deeply ingrained in this young lady. And then the other young lady, it's my problem. I react differently to her because of her way of being, and this is where also I want to get advice from me. Player number one talked about the chief fears of athletes and kind of the energy trap that's there. A couple of symptoms that she has. Number one, very early on in any warm-up situation, she gets very upset with herself over a couple of poor shots, especially, if she doesn't hit the very first shot, great. She's already disappointed. Over the course of 6 weeks, I've tried to encourage her to just allow herself to warm up. The second thing is that if indeed she has hit a great shot, she doesn't know how to react. And then if she were to receive a compliment on that, it's almost guaranteed that the next series of shots are not going to go well. Very, very strong pattern that I've seen of that. And then I study my players' faces when they're playing. I like to try to read how their body's responding, and then ask them about what are they thinking at that time, so I can start to understand their physical cues in terms of their thinking. So she gives off many times a face of disappointment and maybe being afraid of being good. So I approached her and I said, I think you might have the fear of arrogance, and that you really, really hate arrogance so much that you're reacting very strongly against it, and that any little smidgen of something that could be called arrogance in yourself, you react against. And it's hurting your tennis game here. It was like, to her, it was a revelation, and I was very positive, and we made a lot of progress from there. What comments do you have about that, and how can we intervene with her?
Without knowing a whole lot about her, I'm just going to give you my first impression, okay? And it sounds like that she has the energy trap called self-deprecation, which is this fear of not being good enough. Now, in the system of energy traps, there's one energy trap that's called arrogance, and arrogance is the fear of being judged. Now, when you use the word arrogance and her fear of arrogance, you were talking probably more about the traditional way we think of arrogant people, correct? Okay?
Yes.
But I'm going to put it in my system of energy traps, because this is going to be so helpful for her. Because her energy trap is self-dep. In the positive pole, that is being very humble. And it's also, her confidence is more of a quiet confidence, okay? But when she goes into the trap, into the negative part of it, into the fear, which is the fear of not being good enough, then she starts, feeling like there's something wrong with her, she's not good enough, those kind of things, okay? Now, I have noticed that people who have self-deprecation as their primary energy trap do not want to be arrogant themselves. And so they do everything possible not to express any kind of arrogance. And where it hurts them is that the positive side of arrogance is a strong sense of confidence, a strong sense of, I know what I'm doing and I'm doing it. And it's a very attractive quality. That is what we want more of for her. But what she's afraid of is what she sees when somebody's in the negative side of it, in the fear side of arrogance, which is where it's very disrespectful. People who are in the energy trap of arrogance get very disrespectful of either themselves or their opponent. They, it gets really loud and obnoxious. It's really ugly. And so the people who have self-depth, who are very humble, even though they know deep down that they can do something and they have that quiet confidence, they also see how ugly arrogance is, and they don't want any part of it. And sometimes they go to the extreme then. And they are the people that you can say to, I never have to worry about you getting arrogant out there. I never have to worry about you being disrespectful. And trust me, if you do, I will tell you.